Stoic Secrets, How to Handle Disrespect Like a King, Marcus Aurelius Lessons. Stoicism. To bear trials with a calm mind, that is true Stoicism. Marcus Aurelius. Have you ever felt the sting of being disrespected, whether through a cutting remark, an ignored opinion, or the silent treatment that cuts deeper than words? It's a feeling we all experience, and often the urge to retaliate or withdraw can feel overwhelming. But what if there was a way to handle these moments, not with anger or defeat, but with strength, composure, and dignity? This is where the timeless wisdom of Stoic philosophy, particularly the teachings of Marcus Aurelius, comes into play. As a Roman emperor, Marcus Aurelius faced countless challenges, criticism, betrayal, and immense pressure. Yet through it all, he mastered the art of emotional resilience and self-control. His Stoic lessons on handling disrespect can empower us all to rise above life's most trying moments. In today's video, we're diving into how you can channel the teachings of Marcus Aurelius and embrace modern Stoicism to handle disrespect like a king. Whether it's an insult, a judgment, or simply being overlooked, learn how to maintain your peace and grace in the face of it all. Welcome to Stoic Secrets. Number 1. Know yourself. One of the core principles of Stoicism, and something Marcus Aurelius deeply emphasized, is the importance of knowing oneself. In the face of disrespect, understanding who we truly are becomes a shield against the judgment of others. When we are clear on our values, strengths, weaknesses, and boundaries, the opinions or insults of others lose their power over us. This self-awareness is not just about knowing our preferences or desires, but understanding our inner landscape, our beliefs, our motivations, and the things we stand for. In essence, it is about being rooted in our own truth, making us less susceptible to the emotional turbulence caused by others' harsh words or actions. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, reminds us that the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. When we internalize this truth, we realize that our peace of mind is governed not by external circumstances, but by our internal state. Modern Stoicism, therefore, teaches us that when we can reflect deeply on our values and principles, we fortify ourselves against the outside world's negativity. This doesn't mean we will never feel hurt or offended, but that we will process these feelings through the lens of wisdom and reason, allowing us to respond with composure instead of reaction. The more we know ourselves, the stronger we become in our ability to navigate life's challenges, including disrespect. This idea of self-awareness is aligned with the Stoic practice of focusing on what is within our control. External insults or negative comments are beyond our control, but how we react to them is entirely up to us. In the modern world where social media often amplifies disrespect and criticism, this Stoic lesson is more relevant than ever. Every day we are bombarded by opinions from strangers and acquaintances alike. Yet by grounding ourselves in our values and self-awareness, we develop an emotional resilience that helps us to rise above the noise. When we live in alignment with our true selves, external negativity no longer defines our self-worth. Instead, we create an internal shield, one made not of anger or defensiveness, but of calm and understanding. Self-reflection in Stoicism is not just about reinforcing what we believe in, but also recognizing areas where we might be vulnerable. It allows us to spot the triggers that might cause us to react impulsively, giving us the chance to practice restraint before we act. This process is a constant realignment, where we ensure our actions and responses align with our deeper principles. As Epictetus said, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. The same can be said about emotional strength. We gain it not by resisting external pressures, but by needing less from the outside world. The less dependent we are on external validation, the stronger we become in facing disrespect and criticism. This is the quiet power of self-awareness. It doesn't require us to fight back or prove anything to others. It allows us to stand firm, knowing that we are in control of our own peace. When we embody this self-awareness, it becomes easier to detach from the chaos around us and protect our sense of dignity. The Stoic way is not to eliminate all emotions, but to process them with wisdom and understanding. In today's world, where negative comments can sometimes feel like a constant barrage, knowing yourself provides the mental clarity to rise above it. By continually practicing self-reflection, we become more adept at recognizing when we are being swayed by outside forces and less likely to let them disturb our inner peace. Just as a tree stands firm against the storm by having deep roots, so too does a person who is grounded in their own sense of self remain unshaken by disrespect. Knowing yourself isn't just about avoiding the effects of others' words. It's about building a resilient spirit that can withstand life's challenges with grace. When we understand who we are and what we value, we no longer need to prove our worth through the validation of others. Instead, we find strength in our own convictions. This Stoic principle, when applied in the modern world, helps us lead a life where we are less dependent on external approval and more attuned to the voice of our own wisdom. Marcus Aurelius's life was a testament to this practice, as he faced not only personal challenges, but also the weight of ruling an empire, all while maintaining a steadfast sense of who he was. His teachings remind us that true power lies not in reacting to the disrespect of others, but in staying anchored in our own purpose. Therefore, by committing to know ourselves deeply, we embrace a life of emotional freedom, where no external force can take away the peace we have cultivated within. Number 2. Others' opinions aren't your concern. In life, one of the toughest challenges we face is learning to free ourselves from the influence of others' opinions. In today's world, where external validation is often seen as a marker of success, this challenge has only become more pronounced. Whether it's through social media likes, workplace judgments, or personal interactions, we are constantly surrounded by others' perceptions of us. Society often links our worth to these opinions, leading us to feel pressured to conform or seek approval. Yet, the wisdom of Stoic philosophers, especially Marcus Aurelius, offers a solution to this emotional trap. In his meditations, Marcus teaches us that we cannot control the thoughts or judgments of others, and that these opinions, whether positive or negative, should not determine our peace or self-worth. When we attach our value to the perceptions of others, we surrender control over the one thing we can actually govern, our internal state. By allowing others' judgments to dominate our thoughts, we give up control over our emotions and reactions. This becomes particularly dangerous when those opinions are negative or disrespectful. It's easy to feel anger, hurt, or frustration when someone criticizes us, but by allowing their views to dictate our feelings, we risk letting their fleeting judgments control our lives. Stoicism, with its focus on self-mastery, teaches that we should focus on the only realm we can truly control, our thoughts and reactions. Marcus Aurelius encourages us to take back control by redirecting our focus inward, not on external judgments. This means we must learn to release the need for approval from others. We often seek validation, whether through praise or just the absence of criticism, but this pursuit is exhausting and unreliable. When we try to please everyone, we end up pleasing no one, especially not ourselves. To reclaim our peace and autonomy, we must practice self-validation. We can still consider constructive feedback, but we must learn to distinguish between helpful input and the destructive opinions of others. This process allows us to remain grounded even when we face criticism or disrespect. When we validate ourselves, we break free from the emotional roller coaster others' opinions can create. This enables us to live authentically, aligned with our values, without being swayed by others' judgments. Whether we face criticism in the workplace, on social media, or in personal relationships, we can maintain our sense of self. The next time someone disrespects you or criticizes you unfairly, remind yourself that these opinions do not define your worth. They are merely the fleeting thoughts of others, shaped by their own biases and experiences. You have the power to choose how you respond, and you alone can determine your value. Epictetus, another Stoic philosopher, wisely said, "The opinion of others has no power over you unless you let it." This quote highlights a central Stoic lesson. We assign meaning to the words and actions of others. No one can dictate our emotional state unless we allow it. By adopting this Stoic principle, we internalize our worth and stop being defined by external judgments. This is the essence of modern Stoicism, a philosophy that encourages us to build resilience and self-assurance in the face of criticism, while remaining steadfast in our sense of self. By practicing detachment from others' opinions, we regain our personal power. We stop reacting to the external world and begin to live proactively, guided by our own principles and values. This doesn't mean ignoring the feelings of others or disregarding valuable feedback. It means not allowing their judgments to steal our peace or self-worth. In a world where social media amplifies every opinion, workplace pressures are ever present, and personal relationships sometimes test our self-esteem. We can find peace by focusing on what we can control, our internal world. The next time you face criticism or disrespect, remind yourself to detach emotionally from others' judgments. Refuse to let someone else's opinion disrupt your peace. Ground yourself in the knowledge that your worth is not for others to decide. The more you internalize this, the more resilient you will become. By practicing self-validation and detachment, we can live authentically, no longer enslaved by external opinions, but empowered by the wisdom of our own minds. This is the power of modern Stoicism, a philosophy that, when practiced daily, enables us to navigate life with clarity, confidence, and inner peace, regardless of the judgments we encounter along the way. Number 3. Control what you can. In the art of handling disrespect, one of the most powerful Stoic secrets is the ability to control what you can and let go of what you can't. This principle is at the heart of Stoic philosophy and offers a profound shift in how we approach challenges, especially when faced with disrespect. Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic philosopher and emperor, understood this concept well. He taught that while we cannot control the actions of others or the circumstances around us, we always have the power to control our responses to them. Imagine you're in a meeting and someone insults you with a sharp comment or dismissive tone. Your first reaction might be to defend yourself, to retaliate in anger, or to fire back with a biting remark. It's natural to feel hurt or frustrated when disrespected, especially when the comment feels unjust. However, the Stoic secret is this: while you can't control what others say or do, you can always control how you choose to react. The disrespect, as hurtful as it might be, only has power over you if you allow it. The key to inner peace lies in how you respond. When the initial surge of anger rises, take a deep breath. Rather than reacting impulsively, pause for a moment and ask yourself, what can I control in this situation? How can I respond in a way that aligns with my values and goals? This simple reflection helps you shift focus away from the external actions of others and back to what you can control: your thoughts, feelings, and behavior. In doing so, you regain your power. You become the calm center in the storm of chaos around you. Instead of reacting with anger, you choose to respond with clarity and purpose, grounded in your values. To make this more tangible, imagine scrolling through social media and coming across a post criticizing your work or ideas. The post might be rude or unfair. It's easy to feel a rush of frustration, especially when your reputation feels threatened. However, as a Stoic, you have a choice. Instead of responding emotionally or defending yourself with a sharp comment, take a moment to pause and ask yourself, what can I control here? You might choose to ignore the post, or if it's worth addressing, respond calmly, respectfully, and thoughtfully. Your response is guided by self-control, not the desire to retaliate. It's essential to understand that practicing Stoicism doesn't mean disrespect won't hurt, nor does it mean you should allow people to walk all over you. There will be times when setting boundaries or standing up for yourself is necessary. What Stoicism teaches is that you have the power to decide how much emotional energy you invest in others' words. By focusing on what you can control, your mindset, your actions, and your reactions, you preserve your inner peace and maintain your composure in any situation. Think about the energy you waste when reacting to every slight or criticism. The more you react, the more you let others control your emotional state, which leads to unnecessary stress and frustration. However, if you consistently choose calm over chaos and clarity over conflict, you free up energy for things that truly matter. By practicing this Stoic secret, you build resilience and peace, becoming less affected by external circumstances. The next time you face disrespect, whether in a meeting, on social media, or in any other situation, pause and reflect. Ask yourself, what can I control here? You'll be amazed at how quickly you can shift from a reactive state to one of power and purpose. Remember, this isn't about ignoring the disrespect or pretending it doesn't hurt. It's about responding in a way that serves your growth, your peace, and your dignity. By letting go of what you can't control and focusing only on what you can, you allow yourself to grow stronger, more resilient, and ultimately, more peaceful. If you've made it this far, you're truly on the path to discovering inner strength and personal growth. Leave a comment saying, "Control yourself, rise above challenges," to show your commitment to applying Stoic philosophy in your life and mastering what you can control. Stick around. This journey of self-discovery is just beginning, and you're ready to become stronger every day. Number 4. Perception is reality. One of the key teachings of Stoicism, particularly in the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius, is that perception is reality. The way we interpret events and interactions determines how we respond emotionally. Marcus Aurelius emphasized that life is not defined by what happens to us, but by how we choose to interpret what happens. This is especially important when dealing with disrespect. A harsh comment, for example, can either be viewed as a personal attack or as a reflection of the other person's insecurities. If we perceive it as an attack, it will hurt and stir negative emotions like anger or frustration. However, if we understand it as a sign of the other person's struggles, we can detach emotionally and respond with compassion. This shift in perception gives us control over how we feel and helps prevent negative emotions from taking root. This principle is not just a passive response, but an active practice of reframing the narrative. As Marcus Aurelius said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." When we face disrespect, we can choose to see it not as an obstacle, but as an opportunity for growth. In today's world, where people often lash out online or in person, choosing to reframe negative interactions can transform them into learning moments. By viewing disrespect as a reflection of the other person's inner turmoil, we diffuse its emotional power over us. Modern Stoicism encourages us to reclaim our emotional autonomy by shifting our perception and understanding that our peace is not dependent on others' actions, but on how we interpret them. By reframing disrespect, we not only protect our emotional well-being, but also build inner strength. In the modern world, where disrespect comes in many forms, online comments, workplace insults, or offhand remarks from friends, this Stoic approach helps us respond with wisdom rather than anger. We begin to see the behavior of others as stemming from their own wounds and struggles, preventing us from taking their actions personally. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus reminds us, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. This mindset helps us cultivate emotional resilience, allowing us to maintain our peace and navigate life's challenges with grace. By reframing disrespect through empathy and self-awareness, we can rise above negativity without allowing it to disrupt our inner peace. The key takeaway is that perception shapes our reality. By training ourselves to see beyond the surface, we empower ourselves to turn negative interactions into opportunities for emotional growth. The Stoic practice of reframing is a powerful form of emotional empowerment, teaching us that the external world has no power over us unless we allow it. Reframing disrespect as a sign of the other person's internal struggles not only preserves our peace, but also keeps us from being drawn into unnecessary conflict. The next time we encounter disrespect, we can take a deep breath, choose a compassionate perspective, and maintain our dignity, knowing that how we perceive the situation ultimately determines our emotional response. In embracing this Stoic principle, we become the masters of our emotional lives. Nothing has the power to disturb our inner peace unless we permit it. In a world that often feels filled with negativity, the practice of reframing through a Stoic lens allows us to maintain our composure regardless of external circumstances. By mastering perception, we protect ourselves from the harm of disrespect and cultivate greater empathy toward others. Viewing disrespect as a reflection of others' inner struggles helps us rise above the noise and remain anchored in our sense of dignity and purpose. This timeless Stoic wisdom empowers us to live with grace, composure, and an unwavering commitment to our inner truth. Number 5. Your mind is your fortress. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." This simple truth reflects the Stoic belief that our mind is our most valuable possession. Through our thoughts, we shape how we perceive the world and respond to its challenges. In today's world, where negativity and disrespect often seem unavoidable, it is crucial to protect our minds from these external assaults. Think of your mind as a fortress, designed not to isolate you, but to shield you from harm. Just like a fortress resists external threats, your mind can block out disrespect, insults, or negativity, provided you take the necessary steps to defend it. The first step is recognizing that the negativity of others does not define you. In the modern world, we often face criticism or disrespect, whether from colleagues, strangers, or even social media. It's easy to let others' opinions invade our thoughts and disturb our peace. However, Stoicism teaches us to filter out harmful external influences and focus on maintaining control over our mental state. When faced with disrespect, it's tempting to react impulsively. Yet, Marcus Aurelius and other Stoics would advise us to pause and realize that we control how we respond. Our mind, like a fortress, can be fortified with wisdom and mindfulness, allowing us to stay unshaken regardless of external negativity. To build this mental fortitude, we must practice mindfulness and self-awareness. It's not about suppressing our emotions, but choosing to respond to disrespect with calmness and wisdom. As Epictetus wisely stated, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." In other words, we cannot control how others behave, but we can control our response. By training ourselves to react thoughtfully, we strengthen our mental defenses, making our minds impervious to the arrows of disrespect. Instead of letting criticism dictate our emotions, we remind ourselves that disrespect is temporary and its impact on our self-worth is negligible. In modern Stoicism, we embrace the idea that external challenges are beyond our control, but we have the resilience to face them with equanimity. The Stoic approach is to breathe before responding, walk away from toxic situations, and always remember that others' opinions don't determine our worth. By focusing on what we can control, our reactions and mindset, we reinforce the strength of our mental fortress. The Stoics remind us that we are the masters of our minds, and no external influence can alter our internal state unless we allow it. Additionally, Marcus Aurelius frequently reminded himself to maintain a disciplined mind, not letting external distractions affect his peace. Like him, we can practice mental discipline through daily reflection or journaling. By focusing on our actions, values, and personal growth, we strengthen our internal defenses. In today's world, where social media magnifies the opinions of others and work pressures often lead to feelings of inadequacy, it's easy to forget that we have control over our thoughts. The key message of Stoicism is timeless. We are the guardians of our minds, and we must be vigilant against external influences that disrupt our peace. Building and maintaining a strong mental fortress requires consistent effort. Just as a fortress needs regular upkeep, our minds need constant attention and discipline. It's about making small, intentional choices every day to protect our thoughts, filter out negativity, and prioritize peace over turmoil. Over time, this practice makes us more resilient and grounded, allowing us to face life's challenges with inner strength. Handling disrespect and negativity begins with cultivating a strong, peaceful mind that remains immune to external judgment. By practicing modern Stoicism, we learn to protect our inner peace, just as a fortress defends its inhabitants. In doing so, we safeguard our emotional well-being and gain the wisdom to navigate life's challenges with grace and strength, unshaken by the arrows of disrespect. Remember, your mind is your fortress, and you hold the key to its protection. Number 6. Expect harm from harmful people. One of the most powerful Stoic secrets for dealing with disrespect and harm is understanding that people, especially those who are harmful or disrespectful, often act out of their own struggles, insecurities, or ignorance. This insight, which Marcus Aurelius often reflected upon in his writings, helps us navigate situations where others fail to meet our expectations. The truth is, when we expect others to behave according to our values or principles, we risk emotional pain and disappointment. Think about the times you've expected others to treat you with respect, only to find their actions fall short. Naturally, you might feel hurt, frustrated, or even betrayed, but here's the key Stoic insight. We cannot control others' actions. When we expect them to align with our values, we expose ourselves to unnecessary emotional suffering. Instead, the Stoic approach encourages us to adjust our expectations to match reality. Recognize that harmful people will act in ways that reflect their inner struggles, not your worth. This doesn't mean tolerating mistreatment, but rather not letting their actions dictate your emotional state. By shifting your perspective, you free yourself from disappointment and regain your peace of mind. Consider a modern scenario. Perhaps you're in a work environment where a colleague takes credit for your ideas. Naturally, you might feel betrayed or angry. After all, you expected fairness. But this is where Stoic wisdom can transform the situation. Instead of reacting impulsively, remind yourself that their behavior stems from their own insecurities, not from a lack of value in you or your work. This shift in understanding allows you to release the emotional burden and choose a response that aligns with your values. You can calmly address the situation or simply disengage from their negativity. The Stoic secret is in recognizing that their actions are about them, not you. When you stop expecting others to act in line with your values, you prevent disappointment from taking root and preserve your peace. Furthermore, the more we release unrealistic expectations, the more peaceful and light we become. When you stop relying on others to mirror your values, you free yourself from unnecessary frustration. You regain control over your emotional state by focusing on what you can control, your thoughts, reactions, and mindset, rather than what is outside of your control. Think about it. How much energy do you spend reacting to every insult or slight? The more you react, the more others control your emotional state, which leads to stress and frustration. But if you could pause, reflect, and respond thoughtfully, think of the peace you would gain. Stoic practice isn't about avoiding hurt or disappointment. It's about mastering your reactions and choosing calm over chaos. As you practice this Stoic secret, adjusting your expectations becomes easier and your peace of mind becomes more stable. You shift from a reactive, emotional state to one of proactive calm, focused on your growth and resilience. Life will inevitably bring you into contact with harmful people and situations, but by adjusting your expectations, you can protect yourself from emotional turmoil. Instead of allowing others' actions to dictate your feelings, you reclaim control over your emotional responses, staying grounded in your values. By embracing this Stoic lesson, you will experience more peace, less frustration, and a greater sense of control over your life. Understanding that others often act out of their own turmoil frees you from letting their negativity affect your inner state. By adjusting your expectations, you pave the way for a life of greater emotional freedom, clarity, and growth. If you're still here, it's clear that you value thoughtful choices. Share your thoughts in the comments with the slogan, "Control reactions, keep peace, and let's continue learning together." Don't forget, more eye-opening content will be coming soon. Let's explore and apply these Stoic lessons to our lives. Number 7. Retaliation chains. Compassion frees. In the face of disrespect, the natural impulse is often to retaliate. We feel the urge to defend ourselves, strike back, or even the score, believing that doing so will restore our dignity. Yet, Marcus Aurelius, in his timeless wisdom, teaches us that retaliation only perpetuates a cycle of harm. Revenge creates a chain of negativity, locking both parties in an ongoing cycle of hostility and suffering. Stoicism, on the other hand, invites us to break this chain by choosing compassion instead of vengeance. Compassion, in the Stoic sense, does not mean accepting mistreatment or being passive in the face of harm. Instead, it involves responding with emotional maturity, understanding, and restraint. By choosing compassion, we remove ourselves from the power of retaliation and the negative emotions that fuel it. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus wisely said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." In other words, when we react with retaliation, we surrender our peace of mind and allow our emotions to control us. But when we practice compassion, we regain control, freeing ourselves from the cycle of anger and resentment that retaliation only strengthens. Responding with compassion does not mean we condone the mistreatment, but it means we rise above it, maintaining our dignity and inner strength. In fact, compassion can be a powerful tool for personal growth and emotional resilience. When we choose to respond to disrespect with patience and understanding, we create space for healing, not just for ourselves, but also for the person who disrespected us. This approach is transformative. It allows us to remain true to our principles and values, while also offering an opportunity for the other person to reflect on their actions. Rather than falling into the trap of revenge, we can choose to preserve our peace and act in alignment with our higher selves. In this way, we demonstrate strength and wisdom, qualities that are at the heart of modern Stoicism. Moreover, the practice of compassion frees us from the emotional weight of retaliation. We no longer carry the burden of anger or the desire for revenge, both of which only hold us back from living fully and peacefully. In a world where disrespect and conflict are commonplace, choosing compassion is a powerful act of liberation. It allows us to maintain our composure, respond from a place of calm, and avoid being swept up in the turmoil that often accompanies conflict. By refusing to be a prisoner of our emotions, we break free from the cycle of negativity and reclaim our peace of mind. As Marcus Aurelius once noted, "How much time you have to waste, your life is a brief moment. It's not worth it to let these fleeting things control you." When we embrace this Stoic principle of responding with compassion, we not only protect our emotional well-being, but we also elevate ourselves to a higher state of being. It's a reminder that our true strength lies not in how we retaliate, but in how we choose to respond to adversity. We can navigate life's challenges with grace and dignity, not because we avoid conflict, but because we meet it with the wisdom and resilience of a calm mind. In today's world, where personal attacks can be found in many forms, from harsh online comments to toxic workplace dynamics, this Stoic approach becomes more relevant than ever. When we choose compassion over retaliation, we not only maintain our peace, but also set an example for others, showing that emotional maturity and understanding are far more powerful than any act of revenge. The key takeaway is that compassion frees us from the chains of retaliation, allowing us to rise above the cycle of negativity and conflict. It empowers us to remain calm and composed, regardless of how others behave. In this way, we preserve our emotional sovereignty and find true freedom, not in seeking revenge, but in choosing peace. In the practice of modern Stoicism, this principle becomes a cornerstone for living a life of resilience and emotional intelligence. By responding to disrespect with compassion, we not only protect our own peace, but also foster understanding and healing in the face of adversity. In doing so, we embody the Stoic ideal of maintaining inner calm and dignity, no matter what the world throws our way. Number 8. Negative visualization. One of the most paradoxical yet powerful practices of Stoicism is negative visualization, the act of mentally preparing for challenges and losses before they happen. Rather than promoting pessimism or expecting the worst, this technique encourages us to strengthen our resilience by imagining potential difficulties, such as facing disrespect or experiencing failure. It might seem counterintuitive to envision negative events, but in doing so, we prepare ourselves mentally for life's inevitable hardships. By contemplating the possibility of these challenges, we make them less shocking and more manageable when they arise. Marcus Aurelius, a key Stoic figure, often used this method, reminding himself that adversity is a part of life, and that it is our perception and response to these challenges that shape our inner peace. In the modern world, where setbacks and criticisms can feel overwhelming, negative visualization offers a way to fortify our emotional resilience, allowing us to respond to these situations with a calm mind and clear perspective. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus wisely said, Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. Negative visualization shifts our focus from what we lack to what we value, making us more aware and appreciative of the present moment. The practice of negative visualization extends beyond simply preparing for negative events. It also teaches us the importance of gratitude. When we imagine losing something dear to us, whether it's a cherished relationship, financial stability, or personal health, we begin to appreciate what we currently have more fully. This shift in perspective helps to reframe our expectations, not by expecting misfortune, but by acknowledging the temporary nature of all things. When we face disrespect or criticism, instead of reacting with surprise or outrage, we can tell ourselves, "This is what I've prepared for," which enables us to navigate such situations with dignity and strength. By doing so, we reduce the emotional impact that external challenges have on us, fostering an inner resilience that empowers us to remain steadfast in the face of adversity. This practice of negative visualization is a cornerstone of modern Stoicism, a philosophy that teaches us how to remain emotionally stable in a world full of unpredictability. In a society where opinions, especially negative ones, can come from all corners, the ability to anticipate and mentally rehearse the possibility of disrespect equips us with the strength to maintain our peace. It is not about becoming indifferent to the difficulties of life, but rather about facing them with an unshakable understanding that our worth is not determined by external events. In moments of disrespect, we can calmly remind ourselves that we have prepared for such experiences, and this mental preparation helps us rise above the storm of negativity with composure and clarity. Modern life bombards us with constant pressures, from social media to workplace dynamics, often leaving us vulnerable to the opinions and judgments of others. Negative visualization, however, enables us to detach from these external sources of validation. It allows us to protect our inner peace by cultivating a mindset that is not overly dependent on external circumstances. When we expect and prepare for the worst, we are not consumed by the emotional fluctuations that come from unanticipated setbacks or harsh words. Instead, we are able to view these events as part of life's natural ebb and flow, ones that we are fully capable of handling with equanimity. The practice of visualizing adversity ahead of time thus gives us the strength to rise above it when it appears. Incorporating negative visualization into daily life is a simple yet transformative tool for maintaining balance. It does not mean resigning ourselves to a life of negativity, but rather proactively preparing our minds to respond wisely and calmly when challenges arise. The more we engage in this practice, the more we condition ourselves to handle disrespect, failure, and other forms of adversity with the grace and poise that Marcus Aurelius exemplified. By doing so, we cultivate resilience and ensure that, no matter the situation, we remain anchored in our values, unaffected by the unpredictable judgments of the world around us. This is the power of Stoicism, particularly negative visualization, helping us become the masters of our emotional reactions and giving us the tools to navigate life's obstacles with the confidence of a king. Number 9. Reflect and meditate. One of the most powerful Stoic secrets for handling disrespect and emotional challenges lies in the practices of reflection and meditation, two tools that Marcus Aurelius frequently emphasized in his meditations. He understood the importance of taking time each day for introspection, as it was crucial for clarity, self-discipline, and inner peace. Think about how often, in your own life, you've found yourself reacting impulsively when someone disrespects you. Maybe you've lashed out in anger, or on the other hand, you retreated emotionally. Both responses are natural, But what if you could create space between the event and your reaction? This is where reflection and meditation can make all the difference. These Stoic practices help you gain insight into your emotional triggers, especially when facing negativity from others. Instead of letting your emotions dictate your response, you can use reflection and meditation to evaluate the situation calmly and more objectively without being overwhelmed by your feelings. Imagine a scenario at work where a colleague dismisses your idea without a second thought. You might feel insulted and angry, but instead of reacting immediately, you step back. You reflect, asking yourself, why does this bother me? Is it because I feel unheard? Or is it because my pride has been hurt? This moment of reflection gives you the ability to act wisely, choosing whether to assert yourself calmly or simply let the situation go without letting it disturb your peace. That's the power of Stoic reflection. It allows you to respond thoughtfully, not react impulsively. Meditation is just as crucial in this process. By meditating, you strengthen your ability to stay present and clear, preventing your mind from being clouded by past hurts or future anxieties. Have you ever felt overwhelmed by emotions, only to find that a few moments of quiet meditation gave you a fresh perspective? This is the power of meditation. It helps you clear your mind and see things clearly, which is essential for making wise, thoughtful decisions. Regular meditation builds mental resilience, enabling you to remain peaceful even in challenging circumstances. Reflection and meditation also provide an opportunity for self-improvement. After an encounter with disrespect or harm, take the time to evaluate how you handled the situation. Did you let your emotions take the lead, or were you able to maintain your Stoic principles and inner peace? Reflecting on these moments helps you grow and ensures that next time you will respond with greater wisdom and emotional strength. Every experience becomes an opportunity for personal growth, and the more you practice self-assessment, the more resilient and composed you will become. The more you engage in reflection and meditation, the stronger your emotional and mental well-being becomes. These practices are not just tools for handling disrespect. They also help cultivate patience, wisdom, and emotional strength. By dedicating time to these practices, you reinforce your inner peace and resilience. Think about how different things would have been the last time you faced a challenge. How would it have felt if you had responded with composure instead of frustration? By reflecting and meditating regularly, you develop the ability to respond calmly, clearly, and with deeper understanding. The real lesson is that investing time in these Stoic secrets doesn't just help you handle disrespect better, it helps you build a more resilient, peaceful mind, one that is in control of its emotions rather than allowing external circumstances to dictate your inner state. So, each day, take a moment to reflect on your thoughts and actions, meditate to clear your mind, and watch as you transform into a wiser, more centered version of yourself. With these Stoic practices, you'll be able to face the world with confidence, composure, and peace, no matter what life throws your way. Let me ask you, if you're ready to take ownership of your life and empower yourself through mastery, take action now. Like this video and leave a comment below. Master yourself, transform your life. Because true strength doesn't come from controlling others, but from mastering yourself. Have you ever tried pausing and reflecting when faced with challenges in life? The Stoic lessons on self-control, meditation, and reflection can help you become calmer, stronger, and more self-aware. What do you think about applying these practices to your daily life? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Number 10. Embrace impermanence. One of the core teachings of Stoicism, deeply emphasized by Marcus Aurelius, is the understanding that nothing in life is permanent, including moments of disrespect. Marcus frequently reminded himself of life's fleeting nature, recognizing that external events, whether difficult interactions or negative comments, are temporary. This realization is especially important when we face disrespect. While such moments may provoke strong emotions, recognizing their transience can free us from their emotional weight. By embracing impermanence, we avoid allowing these moments to define us or control our emotions. Epictetus wisely said, "It's not things themselves that disturb us, but our opinions about them." With this perspective, we can see disrespect as just one passing event in the larger flow of life. In today's world, where online insults and workplace conflicts are commonplace, the impact of such interactions can feel overwhelming. Modern Stoicism teaches us to internalize the lesson of impermanence, to avoid letting these temporary events dictate our emotional state. By acknowledging that feelings of hurt or frustration will eventually fade, we stop dwelling on past grievances. Instead, we focus on what truly matters: our growth, values, and inner peace. This mindset allows us to break free from the cycle of negativity that often follows disrespect, giving us the emotional resilience to handle these situations more effectively. Embracing impermanence also shifts our focus from the actions of others to our own responses. Stoics teach us that we cannot control how others behave, but we have the power to control our reactions. By understanding that all interactions, including those that cause harm, are temporary, we prevent resentment from taking root. By accepting that no offense is permanent, we stop letting our emotions control us. Instead of focusing on how we've been wronged, we shift our attention to how we can respond in a way that preserves our dignity and emotional equilibrium. This approach isn't about passively accepting mistreatment, but choosing to rise above it. The Stoic mindset encourages us to see disrespect not as a permanent stain, but as a fleeting challenge that offers an opportunity for growth. When we embrace impermanence, we build resilience, which allows us to face life's difficulties with a sense of calm and clarity. Just as the Stoics understood that suffering and loss are temporary, we can apply this insight to modern challenges. Whether the disrespect comes from a colleague, friend, or stranger, we have the power to decide how it affects us. By choosing to respond with patience and grace, we protect our peace and maintain emotional balance. On a practical level, embracing impermanence means refusing to let negative experiences define us. When faced with disrespect, rather than holding on to resentment, we remind ourselves that these feelings are temporary. This recognition helps us let go of emotional baggage, preserving our peace of mind and focusing on long-term growth. Life's challenges will come and go, and by embracing the impermanence of negative emotions, we can live more fully in the present. In a world often marked by injustice or turmoil, the Stoic teaching of impermanence offers a path to emotional freedom. It allows us to regain control of our emotional responses and refuse to let temporary setbacks dictate our lives. Embracing impermanence is a powerful tool for navigating the complexities of modern life. By accepting that all experiences, both good and bad, are temporary, we free ourselves from the emotional burden of resentment. The next time we face disrespect, we can confront it with the wisdom and clarity that Stoicism offers, knowing it too shall pass. This principle of impermanence is central to modern Stoicism and provides a clear path to emotional resilience. It empowers us to live with peace and purpose, unaffected by the fleeting nature of external events. By remembering that all things, even disrespect, are temporary, we strengthen our ability to remain grounded in our true selves, regardless of what happens around us. Number 11. Focus on what you can change. One of the most empowering lessons from Stoicism is the idea of focusing solely on what we can control. Marcus Aurelius, a master of Stoic philosophy, reminds us that while we cannot control the actions or behaviors of others, we do have full command over our own thoughts, reactions, and decisions. In today's world, when confronted with disrespect or injustice, it's tempting to focus our energy on changing how others behave, or to dwell on the unfairness of the situation. However, Stoicism teaches that such efforts are ultimately futile. The true power lies in shifting our focus inward towards what we can change, ourselves. This realization is liberating, as it stops us from wasting energy on things beyond our influence and instead empowers us to take meaningful, constructive actions. Disrespect often stirs our emotions, and our initial instinct may be to react with anger, defensiveness, or even retaliation. Yet, the Stoic approach asks us to pause and reflect. What can we control in this moment? What thoughts and emotions can we shift to maintain composure? What actions can we take that align with our values and principles? In this space of reflection, we regain our power, making the conscious decision to act from a place of clarity, not emotional reaction. By focusing on what we can change, we stop giving away our emotional power to others and protect our peace. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus wisely stated, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This understanding enables us to choose how we respond to disrespect, instead of letting the actions of others dictate our emotional state. When we start to embrace this Stoic mindset, we shift from a reactive to a proactive way of living. The external world will always present challenges, including disrespectful or hurtful behavior. But by focusing on what we can control, we build resilience and emotional strength. Practically, this might mean choosing not to engage in a toxic conversation, walking away from a situation that threatens our peace, or letting go of the need for validation from others. For instance, when someone disrespects us, we might feel a natural urge to defend ourselves or retaliate, but through Stoic practice, we learn that we do not need to engage with every provocation. Instead, we learn to detach, maintaining our dignity and inner calm. It is not about suppressing our emotions, but rather about choosing how we respond, focusing on aligning our actions with our core values rather than reacting impulsively. In modern life, this is particularly relevant, as we are constantly bombarded by external opinions, social media comments, and workplace dynamics. By embracing the Stoic lesson of focusing on what we can control, we free ourselves from the emotional turmoil that often comes with these external influences. This practice fosters a deeper sense of peace and emotional intelligence. The more we practice this principle, the less likely we are to be swayed by external circumstances. We learn to find our center, not by trying to control the uncontrollable, but by mastering our own responses. Every interaction, particularly those involving disrespect, becomes an opportunity to strengthen our emotional resilience. With time, we begin to realize that we are the architects of our emotional worlds. We cannot stop others from disrespecting us, but we can choose how to process and respond to it. This inner mastery is at the heart of modern Stoicism. Rather than relying on others or external circumstances for our sense of peace, we draw strength from within. It's through this ongoing practice of focusing on what we can change, our thoughts, emotions, and actions, that we cultivate the ability to navigate life with grace and emotional stability, regardless of the challenges we face. The more we embody this Stoic principle, the less likely we are to be affected by disrespect or negativity, and the more we strengthen our emotional intelligence and inner peace. Number 12. Turn disrespect into motivation. One of the most powerful Stoic secrets for dealing with disrespect is learning how to turn it into motivation, a lesson that Marcus Aurelius emphasized throughout his writings. Disrespect, though painful, doesn't have to tear us down. Instead, it can become a catalyst for personal growth if we choose to see it that way. Think back to a time when you were insulted or dismissed. How did it feel? Perhaps humiliated, angry, or diminished. It's natural to want to react in defense, but what if you could use that moment to fuel your growth? That's what Stoicism encourages. Marcus Aurelius believed that all challenges, including disrespect, could serve as stepping stones for self-improvement. Instead of seeing them as setbacks, we can view them as opportunities to rise above, to strengthen our character, and to grow stronger. Disrespect often reveals something valuable about us. It can show where we need to assert our boundaries, stand firm in our values, or strengthen our emotional resilience. When faced with rude behavior or dismissive attitudes, it's easy to feel hurt or angry. But Stoicism teaches us to pause and reflect. What is this situation teaching me? Could it be an opportunity to reaffirm my self-worth, assert my ideas with confidence, or develop emotional strength? When you face disrespect, try reframing it as an opportunity for growth instead of letting it drain your energy or diminish your sense of self. This reflection empowers you to take back control, ensuring that the disrespect doesn't define you. For example, imagine being in a meeting at work where a colleague dismisses your ideas. It stings, right? But instead of reacting immediately, take a moment to ask, what am I really feeling? Is it frustration because I feel unheard, or is this a chance to stand up for my ideas and demonstrate my value? By reflecting, you protect your dignity and give yourself the opportunity to handle future situations better. You can respond with grace, confidence, and a commitment to your values, or let the insult derail your focus. Stoicism teaches us to respond thoughtfully, with self-discipline, and not let external situations disrupt our inner peace. This shift in perspective is essential. Stoic motivation doesn't come from a desire for revenge or retaliation. True strength comes from within. The drive to improve and grow should be rooted in an internal desire to become the best version of yourself, not in a reaction to others' wrongdoings. So, when disrespected, resist the urge to retaliate. Instead, take a deep breath and channel that energy into refocusing on your long-term goals. Let that moment fuel your growth, not your desire for revenge. This practice of emotional resilience helps you elevate yourself, turning adversity into strength. Adopting this Stoic approach doesn't just protect our dignity, it propels us to new heights in every area of our lives. Each insult or challenge becomes a test of our strength, a chance to reaffirm our values, and an opportunity to grow into who we want to be. By embracing this mindset, we stop letting the actions of others dictate our emotional state. We let our inner determination shape who we are becoming. When we turn disrespect into motivation, we transform adversity into a driving force that pushes us forward. It's not about pretending that disrespect doesn't hurt. It's about using that pain to build strength and wisdom. Each difficult experience becomes a lesson in emotional mastery. In the end, learning to turn disrespect into motivation doesn't just help us handle adversity. It helps us become wiser and stronger individuals, constantly growing despite the challenges life throws at us. By practicing Stoicism, we protect our peace and dignity while becoming a force of nature, driven by our growth, values, and vision. This mindset allows us to live life with purpose, understanding that every challenge, including disrespect, is simply an opportunity to become the person we were meant to be. In conclusion, the timeless wisdom of Marcus Aurelius and Stoicism provides us with powerful tools to handle disrespect with both strength and grace. By embracing principles like self-awareness, detachment from the opinions of others, focusing on what we can control, and understanding the impermanence of life's challenges, we can maintain our peace in the face of adversity. Stoicism teaches us that while we can't control external events, we have the power to shape our responses. By practicing reflection, meditation, and using disrespect as a stepping stone for growth, we not only navigate difficult situations with composure, but also transform them into opportunities for personal development. If you found this video insightful, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to Stoic Secrets. Don't forget to turn on the notifications so you never miss our upcoming videos on how to live with wisdom, dignity, and unshakable peace. Stay strong and keep practicing Stoic resilience.